Iko Nini. So kuna ubuda anaitwa Doan Chau alikuwa na trend, na Doan Chau alikuwa na trend cause ni mse alikuja Masai za Kenya, kabaki meet the president na kamit prime cabinet secretary Musalia Mudavadi, alafu akaamua ku critique Kenya, na nimeamua ku mix like his words na pia my analysis na footage nimeget from Dubai just to show you what a developed country looks like and what we'd wish Kenya to be like. Najua so Doan Chau, president at Vietnam Gas, alikuwa ameandika why Africa waits while Asia builds, a hard look at Kenya. Then akaendelea, I met with Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and President William Ruto in Nairobi. They spoke with energy about Kenya's future, investment, infrastructure, public housing. But behind the polished language was a painful truth. There is no serious execution culture. Kenya's real problem is not a lack of money or talent. It's the absence of long-term vision and the dominance of short-term gain. Leaders talk big, but systems don't move. They wait for outsiders to bring business rather than build an environment for it. The biggest indicator, electricity. Vietnam, 100 million people, over 40,000 gigawatts of power. Kenya, 50 million people, only 4 gigawatts. This is not a side issue, it's the foundation of economic development. No investor will build a factory where the lights flicker every day. Vietnam knew this. It built power generation before trade zones, and now it's a global export hub. In Kenya, basic energy is unsustainable. And yet, the government built a fancy expressway from Nairobi to Mombasa without an export industry to support it. Meanwhile, millions live in slums and huts with no access to reliable utilities. Tourism is another missed opportunity. Safari bookings require a 90-minute check-in at gates, even with reservations. After 9 p.m., everything closes. There's nothing for visitors to experience or spend beyond a Masai market that's essentially a souvenir stand. President William Ruto wants to build public housing, but investors are scared off by petty corruption and legal instability. There are no credible incentives, no serious risk guarantees. In short, no real initiative to make it happen. Compare this to Vietnam or Singapore. Leaders are up at 5 a.m. working on execution, not speeches. Power supply is constant. Policies are consistent and data-driven. Incentives align with performance. Africa doesn't lack potential. It lacks a mindset shift. Leadership must stop performing for the next donor visit or summit. It must build systems that attract local and global investment, reward builders, and guarantee follow-through. The global window is closing. Asia isn't waiting. If Kenya and much of Africa want a real economic future, they must turn off the microphone and turn on the power. Doan Chau. Then akaendelea, akasema, I want to make it clear that these reflections come from a place of respect and care for Africa, Kenya especially. My observations are meant to be constructive. So, ukicheki story, inakam to kitu moja ile musemaga, like, ukitravel the world, one of the things that you notice is when you look at all these developed countries and you look at all this development, you come to realize that these leaders, these countries are not special. They just have leaders who care about the countries. When I look at a country like Kenya, for example, I see a country that everyone is just trying to loot. Everyone is trying to be the rich, as rich as they can. And this is where the problem comes in, because at some point we have to put the country first. And if we are to put the country first, what would mean is tutaanza ku develop, like we develop so fast, because these things are not rocket science. Najua ni kitu moja ile I think we refuse to admit, but this is not rocket science. This is something super simple. It just needs initiative. And the initiative is like, what do you want for our country? Do you want our country to always be looked at as a third world country? Or do you want it to reach a level where at least tuna get respect? So vile nasema, niko na go around Dubai and you can just see the cars and you can see the buildings and you can see a country where systems work. And then you look back at home and all you see ni like politicians who become super rich every day. And this story ya politicians kuwa super rich imeni remind kitu moja ile kuna clip ilikuwa na go round ya Kagame, and Kagame was talking about how You have situations whereby you have these leaders who are super rich while they are surrounded by a sea of poverty. And Kagame also talked about the fact that kuna African leaders who just loot their people, unajua, and he felt like they are puppets and called them fools. And I think this is the one thing that maybe we needed to hear from an African leader, calling people fools. If you steal from your own people, you're a fool. If you're a billionaire in a sea of poverty, you're a fool. Najua, there's no way to put it like in some kind terms ama vitu kama hizo. So wacha tusikize Kagame kidogo.
And then you have fools leading countries and being used as puppets. And they are stealing from their own resources, which they should be putting to the good use of their own people and develop them. They just put everything to their own use, find billionaires in a sea of poverty, millions of people going hungry, and their leaders, billionaires, money that has been stolen from the resources of these people. And these are the ones received in Western capitals and praised. And when, Rwanda is being crucified literally at the UN, everywhere.
Yeah, so unachikio part. And unajuaga, I'm not like the biggest Kagame supporter, but I have to agree with him. If you're stealing from your own people just to be rich and just to be a billionaire, you're already a billionaire. You're trying to be a dollar billionaire. And the amount of poverty that's in these African countries, you'll never understand it. Alafu, like, one of the things ile wasome kwa kinitago, sengi sana wamenitag na history, ni story na ubuda anaitwa Cheragei. He's gone back to history yake ya kutaka the president to have an extra term. And this also reminds me of another clip ile nilicheki. And hizi vitu zote anaziput against the backdrop of Dubai, because I want you to see what development looks like. Najua, we always told that hapa Kenya, ntaleta maendeleo, but we never see it. It's just one of those things that politicians uisemaga alafu inaishia hapo. But that's why you have someone like Cheragei who wants Ruto to get another term. And the only reason he wants Ruto to get another term, ama an elongated term, is so that they can loot the country even more. But sasa kuna msanaitwa President Boko, and he is the president wa Botswana. And apart from that, like, Botswana inakuwaga like one of the most developed countries in Africa and one of the most corruption free countries in Africa. So wacha tusikie ubuda, alafu inakuonyesha like get rid of corruption, instant development. Wacha tucheke kile Boko alikuwa anasema juu ya presidential term limits and any president who thinks 10 years is not enough.
I will say to you today that any president of any country who wants to be president for more than 10 years, anybody who has that ambition is instantly a failure. You can't want to do this job for more than 10 years. You can't. If you are serious about it. If you take the job seriously, you can't do it for more than 10 years. You can't. And anybody who sticks with presidency for more than 10 years, that's a surefire indication that he has failed and he has no intention. He doesn't understand the job.
Umesikia part vile anasema that anyone who thinks that 10 years is not enough is a failure. And now you have people like akina Cheragei. And Cheragei wanataka ku like extend the term. And just shows you they are not serious. Like, hii job, if you do it well, the first thing that it does, it's going to beat up your body. And that's one thing was noticed na mseko Obama. If you look at Obama before and after, utabaki umecheki like how much damage the presidency did to him. Wakitukage na Kasongo, apart from their like expensive shirts and expensive whatever, there's nothing that they're doing. Unajua pale, it's just him and his friends trying to be as rich as possible. And yes, when we go to these countries, we feel some sort of way. I won't lie to you that I always look at this and I cry for Mama Africa, because kitu moja mujuaga ni we are not poor. Najua mtu asikuwe kudanganya that Africa is poor. Africa just has very bad leaders, and Africa has leaders that use like religion in a negative way, and that's the reason why unaonaga na itandika ukienda kwa countries kama hizi ile tuko anose wako united under religion, but they're using it in the right way. They're not using it to steal public resources ama to look for votes. Of course hapa si countries za kuenda ati kuvote every now and then, but still inakuonyesha like these people just they're doing this because they love their country. Najua, like, they are developing their country because they know like when the country is richer, the people get richer. And if the people get richer, the people have higher spending power, and the richer of that country, ama the wealthier, get even more wealthier. So yes, I hope this ride through a part of Dubai nimekuonyesha like what could be, cause hata watu waseme nini, I still dream that one day Africa tutafika level tunafaa kufika. Iko Nini.